Welcome back to this video where I'm going to show you how I am doing everything with my hatching eggs, both the ones that I'm selling and the ones that I'm incubating myself, and how I store them before the incubation. This is one of my incubators, and they always set to 37.7 degrees Celsius. And this go around I have eggs from my geese and from my cayuga ducks. So the green ones are from the ducks and the other ones are from the geese. And this is where I store my eggs, in the pantry, where it's a little cooler than the rest of the house. And these are some eggs that I'm going to sell. So I'm packaging them really well. And because it's the duck eggs and they are a little bigger than chicken eggs, I only put one egg in every other hole in the egg tray, so they don't touch. And then when I have filled all of my egg trays with 20 eggs this time, I'm going to tape them all together so they will sit nicely in the egg trays and won't fall around. And these eggs will be sent with the post, so that's why I'm packaging them really well. So first off, I put them in the egg trays. Now I'm taping all of the egg trays together and then to each other, so that they will fit nicely into a bigger box that I will line with some hay. So I have some of this hay in the bottom, and then I will put in all of the egg trays. Then I will put the rest of the hay on top and on all of the sides, so that the eggs are in the middle of the box. So even when it's not handled that well, or there will be other boxes on top of this one, the eggs will still survive the transport. And I have never had an egg break when I send it like this. And I have sent several hundred eggs each year for maybe the last 5 or 6 years. So this is a really good method to do it. And this is eggs from my Orpington chickens. And I will start them in this smaller incubator, and there can fit 24 eggs in this one when I sit them like this with the pointy side down. So I'm just filling this one up, and then I will start it, and it will be on the same temperature as the big one at 37.7 degrees Celsius. And it's on an angle, so I can turn them every morning and every evening. The big incubator can turn them automatically. And after about a week in the incubator, I'm going to check the fertility, and I'm just using the light on my phone to check it. It's a little hard to see on the video, but there's something that looks like a little spider, and that is the little chick that is growing in there. If there are some of them that are not fertile, I will just remove them so that they won't rot and spoil all the other eggs. And I also did the same with the duck eggs and the goose eggs. And those I can actually see already at about 4 or 5 days. And these are the eggs that weren't fertile, so I just remove them. And the duck and goose eggs I will spray with some demineralized water so that there won't be any extra calcium or anything like that in the water. And then I'm just putting them back in the incubator, and because of it there's goose eggs, I won't use the automatic turning, so I'm just doing it by hand like this. I can just push these trays and then they will turn, and I'm just doing that every morning and every evening like the other incubator. And now you can see that the temperature has dropped a little, but it won't take long, then it's up again. And this is the humidity. And these eggs have been incubating for about 24-25 days, and normally at 28 days they will hatch. So now I'm putting them into this other tray where they can hatch in, and then I'll put them back in the incubator and put some more water in there so that the humidity will rise. And that's Holly over there. And they need some more humidity to hatch so that they won't dry out, and they will have a hard time to get out of the eggs. So that is why I'm doing this, and I will also not open the incubator these last couple of days. So right now the humidity is about 45 to 50%, and within maybe an hour or so it will be at about 70 to 80%. So this is how the eggs look, and now I won't open the machine for a few days until they have all hatched. And you can see already one of the goose eggs is about to hatch. And now the first of the ducklings is almost out of the egg, so that is really exciting. And now that they have all hatched, I can take them out of the incubator and put them in this big box that we have in a furnace room, and I will put their beaks down into the water so that they know where to find it. And both the ducklings and the goslings can just live together, even though that the goslings are much bigger. But the ducklings like the goslings. They kind of find them that they are like a big brother or something like that, so they will just follow them around everywhere. And now the chicken eggs are hatching as well, and it's almost the same as when the ducklings and the goslings are hatching. Sometimes I won't have the humidity as high as with the other eggs. And these are some golden laced Orpington chickens, so they will get really pretty when they are bigger. Right now they're just cute little chicks. And I have already sold all of the goslings and the ducklings, but these 3 goslings will get their new home next week. So I just took them out into the garden where they could eat some grass and have some water, and they will just follow me around everywhere. And now I have put some more duck eggs in the incubator, and I'm going to candle them to see if they're fertile. And it is a little easier to see if they are fertile than the other eggs. You can see that little spider in the middle, and that just means that they are fertile. And as I said before, they're only about 4 or 5 days old right now, so that's why it's so small. And if they're just light all the way through like this one, it's not fertile, so I'll just remove that one. But most of the duck eggs were fertile. In the last batch that I did, it was 100% fertilization, so that is really good. And these eggs are from some that I have bought from a guy in the northern part of Denmark, so I also got them by mail. But unfortunately he hadn't packed them as well as I did with my eggs, so one of them broke, and only 19 out of the 30 eggs were fertile. And then at this time I also had to remove about 5 or 6 more eggs because they have died. So I only ended up with three chicks from the 30 eggs. So that's not so good, but later on I bought some at another place. And these eggs are from the French La Bresse. You can see that this one is fertile, but the chicken has died maybe a week into the incubation because it's not growing anymore. The other eggs are almost ready to hatch within a few days now. And these are the duck eggs, and you can really see the little duckling in there. Sometimes you can see them move like this one, and you can see the blood veins on the shell as well. It is so funny at this point where I'm going to take the chickens out of the incubator. They're just standing there looking like, hey, take us out, we want some food and some water. So they're all just looking out on me. And I will just bring them into that big box where we also had the ducklings and the goslings in. And then we have this heat lamp and some food and some water. And they will have a really nice time there. And this is one of my Muscovy ducks that have gone broody as well. And these are the 3 Labreast chickens that came out of the eggs. So that's 1 hen and 2 roosters. So we'll just keep one of the roosters and then we'll get some hens from another place. And these are 20 other eggs that I bought from the Labreast, not that far away from here, so I could just get them myself. So I will just keep all of the hens from this batch and then keep one of the roosters from the other batch, so they're not related to each other. And this is another batch of Orpington chickens that I hatched out. I think I had about 34 eggs and 31 of them hatched, so that is really good. And the Labreast, I had 19 eggs and 16 hatched, so that was much better than the first place where I bought them. And they are so cute, these little chickens. And this is how it looks when they are turning automatically. I have this thing on them and they will turn every 2 hours. Sometimes I just have to push the eggs out to the sides again, because sometimes they will touch and they won't lay as good as they could have. And these are my last duck eggs for the year that I'm going to hatch out. And right now, when I'm doing this video, they are about to hatch. So in the next video I can show you how many that came out of these eggs. And you can see they almost fill out the whole egg. There's just this little pocket of air that they have to use when they are hatching. So I put in a big pot of water and I sprayed them so that the humidity can get up. And in the top of the incubator I also have this little thing I can put on there so that it will keep it really moist in there. The ducklings has to have a little more humidity than the chickens when they're hatching. So that's why I'm doing it like this. And one of them were already about to hatch at this point. I don't know why, but it was really early this time. Now the humidity is about 70%. And out here in my little greenhouse I have some of the Orpington chickens that I already have sold, but she will get them next week. And then I have the 16 Labreast chickens, and they're having a nice time. Actually they only were supposed to be on the left side, but they just squished down the fence and then they are everywhere, but that's okay. And they have this box with a heating lamp so they can get in there if it's too cold, but usually during the day it's warm in there. And these are some of the Orpington chicks I hatched in April that I'm going to keep, at least the hens. And then the roosters will butcher at some time. And in the back there are the 3 Labreast chickens from the first time I hatched them. And this is in the morning time, so I'm going to let out all of the other animals. These are the Cayuga ducks and the Muscovy ducks. They are staying in here and they have already laid a lot of eggs this morning. And then on the other side I have my geese. They'll also stay in one of these runs at night, just to protect them a little more against foxes and so on. And we have never had any casualties like this. I'm also feeding them in the morning time. The ducks are always so hungry when I let them out. And so I'm just feeding them in this tray, and the geese can also eat from this one. And now I'm going to get the duck eggs so I can get them inside. And the Muscovy ducks are a little slow to get out. They're all always just looking at me and what I'm doing and so on. The Cayuga ducks are a little more scared of me. So they are really two different kinds of ducks. They don't look like each other in any way. And I'm putting the dates on the eggs, the hatching eggs, so that I know which day they have been laid. And in where the ducks are, we have a lot of currants, both black and red currants. So the ducks are eating whatever they want, and then we take the rest of them. And we also have the chickens in their runs here, and the labreast out here, the one on the left is the female and one on the right is one of the males. So this is how they look when they are maybe 6 to 8 weeks old, I think. They grow really fast compared to the Orpingtons. The Orpingtons that are in the same run as them are 1 month older, and even they are so much older, they are not bigger. So that is why we're trying the labreast. And this is the flower bed that I made some videos ago, and they have already started to flowering, so that is really nice. I think that this will be really pretty in a few weeks from now. And just on the side of that, I have this little road stand with a lot of different things. I have some eggs and a lot of preserves that I have made, and relishes and chutneys and jams and all sorts of things. And this is in my pantry where I have my hatching eggs, and I have them on an angle, and I turn them every morning and every evening. And these are all the eggs that we can eat, and we have a lot because the Isas are laying about 10 eggs every day, and then the ducks are also laying some that I don't hatch. So we have enough eggs, I would say. And this is all for this time. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please make sure to subscribe, and you can always go and follow us on Instagram at Vestas Farm Life. Bye bye.